So we're almost towards the end of the season with patch 6.9, and this patch brings some significant improvements and adjustments, one of them being the long anticipated XP-54 nerf, but is it really enough? Also, we have a brand new LTM and the Alpha Acta TDM map making its permanent debut. In today's patch overview, I'm going to be pulling out the information that I thought was the most significant and will impact your daily gameplay experience, without all the fluff, so that you can get back to the arena up to date as fast as possible. But before we do, if you found this video informative, please smash that like button. It's a small button for you, but it means the world to me. And subscribe for all things the finals. Let's jump into it. First things first, we have the Peace map returning to TDM permanently. Also, we have the XP Dash event now available towards the end of the season to help you accelerate bonus XP and fans, so that you can make Sophia, your sponsors, proud. The glitch where we have players burning, invisible, or being detected non-stop is now permanently fixed after 6 long months, which is definitely a W in my book. As for added content, we have a brand new LTM mode on a potential new TDM map, with the sledgehammers basically pushing players across the map and tossing you high up in the air. It's crazy, chaotic, and a ton of fun. If you're a sledgehammer main or just like to run around and you won't be disappointed. Along with this new LTM, we've got a plethora of sledgehammer skins and related items added to the store. One being a sledgehammer with a scope, which goes to show how much these devs listen when it comes to bringing these crazy ideas to life. They truly do not get enough credit and really set the bar when it comes to quality. Moving on to maps, we have an incredible change, which made Frozen Kyoto much more preferable over the original, being that they finally removed the slow movement while running through the water. I totally get the realism aspect sort of things, but come on, it's a virtual game show, and the water definitely took away from the fluidity of the movement in this game. Now on to what you all have been waiting for, the weapons. So the ARN has its recoil updated, which is great in terms of consistency. However, they did not update the recoil based off the secondary mag, but they did for the primary mag. So the recoil for both mags is going to be based on the primary mag, and you will no longer have that perfectly horizontal recoil that you received from the secondary mag. Next, we have the FAMAS having its visual recoil reduced, making it slightly less shaky, and after using it in TDM, the red dot sight definitely felt just as good as the scope. Maybe it was placebo, but let me know what you guys think. As for the M11, they decreased the jitter at the end of the weapon's recoil, making it smoother and easier to use at the end of a long burst of firing, as well as decreasing the visual recoil, making it slightly less shaky. And after using it in TDM as well, I gotta say, the M11 feels really good right now. But then again, that has always been the case. Now on to the KS-23, which got an all-around accuracy buff by decreasing its dispersion for just about every way the weapon is shot, from hip fire while crouched to aiming down sights while running. This was done in the hopes to make the KS-23 more accurate, but I gotta be honest with you guys, no matter how much I try to get used to it, I really don't like the changes that they made to the RPM by having it shoot faster the longer you fire. I'm a player that loves consistency with a weapon, and having the RPM change mid-engagement really throws me off because I just can't get into a good rhythm. But if you're a player that mains it, I'm 100% positive you're going to love these changes. Melee weapons has had their hit sweeps improved, making them more viable. As a result, should feel like fewer hit sweeps get lost to collision with world objects or geometry. They believe that this change will significantly improve reliability and will continue to monitor it for further improvements based on the data they gather. Because let's just be honest here, you all got decimated in the last nerf. But wait guys, there's more. They also fixed an issue where players could hit other players through walls when standing very close to them and initiating an attack. And that's it for melee weapons. Now finally, what you all been waiting for. The XP-54 has had its damage decreased from 17 to 16, and has its RPM increased from 850 to 860 to compensate for the lower damage. Now, if you're wondering if the XP-54 still melts, the answer is a resounding yes. However, it cannot melt at the ranges that it once did. You're going to find yourself leaving mediums one shot 30 meters out unless you're landing every single shot, or landing a lot of headshots consecutively. And at that range, the increase to RPM is not doing it any favors, because it is significantly harder to manage the recoil beyond 25 meters, compared to the ARN, which is just as lethal, but can easily beam a medium out of existence at 30 meters. So in my opinion, if you're an XP-54 main, it's not going to be enough to make you switch weapons, and you will probably still use it regardless. But in terms of performance, I think the ARN now has an edge against it, and a more compelling reason to use it over the XP. And lastly, the minigun has an issue fixed where it could still wind up while being pulled by the winch claw. That's kind of wild, I never knew you could do that. Anyhow, on to specializations. For the cloaking device, they prevented invisibility from being cancelled by emotes and ensured deactivation is not interrupted when holding an environmental prop. And that's it for specializations. So, here are some content and bug fixes that I thought were notable. These Season 3 Ruby rewards are now being added, such as player cards and emblems. For Power Shift and Overtime, the winning team now correctly receives 25,000 in cash, replacing the previous behavior where no cash was added. As for TDM, self-kills now give the enemy team $25 if the player hadn't taken any damage beforehand. And as for Terminal Attack, it has been removed from the playlist altogether and replaced with Bank It. I'm just joking about that, of course, but low-key keeping my fingers crossed. And that's about it for patch 6.9.0. Please let me know down below what you guys think about the XP-54 nerf, and if you will be picking up the ARN in its place. I hope you guys are getting good and comfortable with your furry costumes, and I'll see you with a sledgehammer in the arena. Peace and love, guys.